All right. That's a 3-point loss in Cleveland. Fuck. 106-103. This is the first one that stings a little bit, but sure it won't be the last. I don't know. I don't know if this is one where you start off with the good or the bad, because there was a lot of good and there was a lot of bad. They lost this game in the first half when their help defense was slow to get back to the 3-point line, and just generally slow, and it just wasn't crisp. Yeah, I mean, I think there is still a part of this team that maybe got comfortable with the 5-3 start, because this isn't like they're dogging it, or it's not like low effort, but there was a crispness, there was an extra effort with that opening start of the season that hasn't quite been there to start games. And you saw it in the second half, and it made the difference, because defensively in the second half, they got beat sometimes, but they got beat by really, really good shots. So that was really frustrating. I mean, the end of the game, between what do we have? We had the 2 Barrett turnovers. The one off of Drummond's foot, I'm more willing to forgive that. The last one just a second ago he has to be better. He has to be more careful. But again, it's like, this is a game where you could talk about the good and you could talk about the bad, because for most of this night, everything we saw yes, we had the Randle clear path foul. But again, in that moment, you're like, a guy's fast breaking for a dunk. The game's on the line. It's instinct. It's the instinct you've had as a basketball player for 20 years to foul there. I'm not going to kill Randle on the clear path. The things I will kill are Bullock making the faulty entry pass to Mitch when he could have pulled it back out. That was ridiculous. That should not have happened. You hate to see the Randle miss free throw, although on that dunk, I mean, my God, that was the best dunk of the year. And then the RJ turnover to end the game. You can't do these things and win games. But again, it shouldn't have come down to that, because as many people have been saying in the chat, this was not a game against this group of players for Cleveland. This is not a game. If you're a team that expects to be anywhere near a playoff race, this isn't a game that should come down to the last couple of possessions. And it did. Cleveland was playing with half a team, and they came out and they played harder from the start, and they won the game, which is really fucking frustrating. Dotson, good for Dotson. I'm sorry. I will never root for a Knicks loss, and I'm not fucking happy about this, but good for Dotson. He was on this team for 3 years, and they never gave him a chance. I had to laugh when either Clyde or Breen mentioned at some point in the game that Dotson was averaging like 14 or 15 points a game over the last 3 games. And I wanted to yell at the TV and be like, hey, the dude averaged 15 points a game after the All-Star break for an entire season a year and a half ago. And that didn't apparently mean anything to the people running this team, which is really frustrating. It's the one thing that is inexcusable why they never figured out a way to give him a chance. Drummond, I mean, what can you say about Drummond? Drummond is an unfair matchup with the guys that we have on this team, but I did think it was interesting that we had I mentioned this on my halftime Zoom, we had a little snippet from Ian Begley today mentioning that the Knicks engaged Mitchell Robinson or his camp in contract extension talks this summer, and it didn't go anywhere. And for as nice as Mitchell Robinson has looked for most of this year, and I think he has looked pretty good, these are the types of games where head's just not in it in the same way as we have seen it at other times. And just like, if that dude is not going to be fully engaged, he's just a guy. For all of his athletic ability, he's just another guy if he's not going to be locked in 100%. And like, you saw it at moments in the second half, where Mitch was engaged and he did lock in. And then you ask yourself, well, where was that for the entire game? So, I mean, the NBA, especially for centers, it's a funny league right now. When a guy like Nerlens Noel, who came in and played really well, 6 blocks, obviously changed the game, I thought, changed the feel of the game when he came in the first half especially. When a guy like that is available for 1 year, $6 million, and you are a guy who is strictly a rim-running center, and you're looking for a big contract, you better fucking bring it every night. And Mitch did not bring it in that way tonight. And I get it's a hard matchup against Andre Drummond, but you're going to go up on the podium and talk about how, oh, Nikola Jokic, no big challenge. Well, come out here and prevent Andre Drummond from getting a 30-20 game. Yeah, so I disagree. Somebody just said Noel was terrible in the first half. He didn't have the same impact as he did in the second half, but I thought his impact was strong, bigger than Mitch. Like, it's tough to go up against that dude, and that's a matchup issue for a lot of people. But Noel was at least getting his hands in passing lanes, trying to force steals. I mean, dude ended up with 6 blocks. I thought his energy was great. So, all right, enough about the bad. Yeah, but Mitch was hurt later in the game. Somebody just mentioned. I thought Mitch was a little off to come out, early on. But I'm not going to pile on Mitch because he's had a good year. And really, honestly, you can't pile on anyone tonight other than someone who I'm not ready to talk about yet because I'm just going to start cursing if I mention his name. And to think I was the asshole who defended his signing this summer. Good job by me. Emmanuel Quickley had his career high 2 nights ago. And then he just had his career high again, second night in a row. 23 points, 4 assists, and 23 points, 17 shots, a lot of shots, but 3 for 7 from downtown. I mean, what do you say? They got themselves a player. I don't know what he is long term. I don't know if he's a starter. I don't know if he's a starter on a good team, but I'll save it. I'll save it for the end. I can't talk about the starting lineup yet. Let's talk about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett's going to obviously wear this loss around his neck. That's funny. My wife's insurance card just got stuck to the bottom of my Scotch glass. How you doing? RJ Barrett ended tonight poorly, but I thought he had a really good game. And I thought he didn't force it. I thought he let the game come to him. I thought he made the right play pretty much the entire game. And then, Tibbs called a play for him late, and it didn't go well. A couple of plays for him late, it didn't go well. And that happens. I mean, this is one of the instances where I am okay with saying he's 20. Because what I saw for the first 45 minutes of the game showed a ton of progress from a kid who's really been struggling. So I like what we saw from RJ Barrett tonight. Julius Randle, again, I don't know what else I have left to say about Julius Randle other than that he's an all-star and he's probably not going to make an all-NBA team either because they don't trade him and he's on a team with a bad record at the end of the year or because they do trade him and he becomes a third option somewhere else. Either way, 28 points and 6 assists. Only had 1 turnover. 5 rebounds, which, you could have used him on the glass a little bit more, but I'm not killing Randall for anything. He's fucking phenomenal. I don't know what else to say about him. Kevin Knox, the threes mattered. If I have one complaint about the coaching tonight, it's that I could have used a few more Kevin Knox minutes, although I do understand why he took Knox out late. Reggie Bullock is just so much more reliable defensively right now, and I understood why he was in the game. God, this team misses Alec Burks, and I'll be curious to see if they insert Burks into the starting lineup when he is back. We saw some Obi tonight. I'm happy somebody mentioned Obi. Nice activity. He again not forcing it, but you'd like to see You'd like to see some stuff at some point from Obi Toppin, but I'm not nervous yet. He'll be fine. He needs some time to get the game under him. He's still a rookie. Still his third NBA game. And Rivers has been off. But again, I'm not going to kill Rivers because on the whole, Rivers has had a good year. Okay, it's time. I've had 10 minutes to prepare for this. I did defend the Elfrid Payton signing in the offseason, and to be honest with you, I kind of stand by the fact that he is a player that is worth 1 year and $5 million. But he shouldn't be a starting point guard in the NBA today. I don't care what team it is. He certainly should not be a starting point guard for this team with its spacing issues. You want to give him some run as a backup where he's out there with 3 or 4 shooters and he could get to the hole and force the issue. And his I'm going to say it, his poor defense, because it is poor. A lot of these plays where the Knicks are helping and over-helping and there ends up being a guy open. A lot of those plays the first domino on those plays starts with Elfrid Payton not being able to contain the point of attack. And it's really fucking frustrating, especially when you have a guy like Quickly who, man, does he battle. And he's active. And if he gets beat off the point of attack, he recovers. Payton does not. And he's not fighting through those screens. And he's throwing, the 2 turnovers that he had tonight. And again, it's only 2 turnovers. But when you are initiating the offense, as rarely as Payton is right now, you don't get to have 2 turnovers where you just give up the ball. You're a point guard who is in because you're a veteran presence and you're not supposed to make rookie mistakes, and those are rookie mistakes. You can't do it. To say nothing of the fact that there were another 2 occasions tonight where his passes to there was the one to Bullock in the second half, which got him his ass yanked from the game for good. And there was another pass in the first half where he threw the pass that was nowhere near the guy's breadbasket. It was closer to his feet. You can't do that. Can't do that if you're a starting point guard in the league. Again, I don't care how much of a talent deficit there is on this team. You have another option at this point. This is game number 13. I don't know. We have gotten to the point where, you want to start having it be where Quickly gets the start and you give him the 4-minute hook or the 5-minute hook, which you kind of almost did tonight. It was more like the 7-minute hook. That's fine. Again, this is a coach who once started, oh my God, what's his name? Keith Bogans for 82 games and he averaged 17 minutes a night. You want to have that be the case as the transition? I'm not going to kill that, but at the same time, those Bulls teams started off the games well. These games, the offense, it has now become a problem. This is now the 5th game in a row that they have started the game off not quite in quicksand, but in some thick mud. And I'm sorry, that has to be on Payton. And when you look at the activity level on both ends, it's obvious. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Payton. It's past that point. All right. Somebody just pointed out, I'm going to take some questions from the chat if anybody wants to ask anything. 0-5 since Taj joined. That's mean. Knox sat after he didn't rotate back after Quickly was rejected. Very true. And you're going to get those plays from Knox, which is why a bunch of people have said Knox should be starting in place of Bullock. I'm not there yet because he still has those moments on defense that he's not there yet. Although I think his 3-ball is really encouraging. Payton and Bullock can kick rocks. I will take 2 of Jamal Crawford, Isaiah Thomas, and Moody. You had me until you said Moody. I'm not going off on RJ. I was very complimentary of RJ. He must have come late. 5 losses in a row, and the schedule is about to get tougher. Listen, man, a few people act like I kill RJ unnecessarily. If RJ plays bad, I'm going to say RJ plays bad. If RJ plays good, I'm going to say RJ plays good. I am not about to go on of live stream or a newsletter or a podcast and say that RJ Barrett is good when he's not. You're the third pick in the draft. You've been honed since birth to be a guy who is going to be as prepared as a 19-year-old in the NBA as anybody, thanks to his dad and the pedigree and going to Duke and all of the stuff. This was a good game for RJ. He's had other good games. He's had some bad games. He is uneven. I still think he has had more good than bad as a second-year player. But I'm sorry, I'm not about to call the kid the second coming of, like, I don't know who you want me to call him the second coming of. He looks like a guy who, let's be happy if he's a fourth starter on a good team someday. Because he was the third best player on the team tonight, and they lost to a shitty team. So that's enough on RJ Barrett. I'm not going to say anything else about RJ Barrett. Yes, he's played only 81 games, so I'm patient. I'm happy to be patient. But there's other rookies in that class, and we don't need to talk about the Keldon Johnsons and the Tyler Herros of the world tonight, but go look at what those guys are doing. I don't think Obi looks lost. I think Obi's played his third game as a pro. You want to give me RJ Barrett's played only 81 games? Well, I'm going to give you that Obi Toppin's only played 3 games. Deal him for Beal already. I don't want to deal RJ for Beal. Honestly, I don't want to, not that RJ would be enough, but I don't want to center a package for RJ around RJ for Bradley Beal, because I think RJ is part of the solution. I think he's part of the solution more than he's part of the problem. I'm not willing to give him a pass anymore. I'm going to call it like it is. That's the only thing. Who do you think we sign with the third two-way that is coming soon? Oh God. Miles, God, I forgot his name. Miles Powell, probably, I would guess, just so he could be with the roster. I would expect it to be Miles Powell. If it's not Miles Powell, I don't really know. Any realistic deal for Payton? Who's giving up anything for Elfrid Payton? I mean, if you want to get like a top 55 protected second round pick, I'm sure somebody will give you that. MKG or bust. I like that. Trier, yeah, Alonzo Trier. There you go. No, I think the Alonzo Trier ship has sailed. Randle needs to make quicker decisions in the half court, or is it just me? No, I think that's a good question. I do think some of the issue with the offense has been taking a little bit too long to get Randle the ball. I don't think he's made any poor decisions, but again, now we're starting to talk about Randle as if he's one of the 15 best players in the NBA, because now you're not only asking him to make tough baskets, which he's doing. You're not only asking him to make good decisions and make good passes, which he's doing. You're not only asking him to play solid defense, which he's doing most of the time, but you're asking him to you're asking him to be like LeBron James. I think I can't say a bad word about Randle. He's good. You can't sign a guy to a two-way. Somebody just mentioned Jarrett Jack. I don't know if it was a joke or not. You can't sign a guy to a two-way if they have more than 3 years of NBA service time. So, what else? I don't mind Julius Randle bringing up the ball. I actually like that. We need more solid screens. It's frustrating when they don't use the screen or the screen doesn't do anything. That's on Mitch. And that's something that, again, for as much as I have praised Mitch for his defense for much of this year, I don't. Are they telling him to slip every screen? Because the next hard screen that Mitchell Robinson sets might be the first one of his NBA career, and that's like teams are taking away the lob. Clearly, they're taking away the lob. So slipping every screen loses its benefit if the lob, not that I shouldn't say that the lob threat goes away. The lob threat is still there, but there has to be some kind of a happy medium between what's happening now and what needs to happen. Yeah, I just thought Mitch looked off. I don't know if it was tired or not. Objectively, the Knicks should still trade Randle by the deadline, right? Since his value is at its highest. Whew. I think I needed to take a sip before I answer this question. Randle is the best player, or let me rephrase that. There has not been a player that has played, I wrote this in the newsletter today, there has not been a player that has played better than Julius Randle for the Knicks this century outside of Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, God. I wish it was Mitchell Robinson. Outside of Carmelo Anthony during his heyday. You know, Kristaps gave us what was effectively, actually, it was about 13 games. And I'm not sure those 13 or 14 or 15 or so games from Kristaps were as good as Julius right now, because Porzingis was scoring a lot and he was protecting the rim and the whole thing. But Randle is initiating the offense. And KP, that one year where he really looked the part for 3 weeks, was not initiating the offense. He was not making the open passes. Who's Kristaps? The Amare disrespect. Amare gave you 40 games worth of an MVP performance. But that was a better team. And I'm not 100% sure that what Julius Randle is doing right now isn't at least on par with what Amare was doing to start that season. I'll give Amare the benefit of the doubt because he did it for longer. And even though that team was better, they were actually winning games, more games. So, okay, let's put Randle third this century. Whatever. The point remains. Julius Randle's playing really good. And he's 26. He's on a fair contract next year. I would wager that you could probably get him on a fair extension. I'm not in a rush to deal this dude away. I'm not saying I won't deal him away, and I'm definitely not building around him. That was funny. You're not building around Julius Randle. I don't know if this version of Julius Randle is the second best player on a good team or the third best player on a good team. Probably the third best player on a good team. And again, it's an odd fit because the three-point shot, I still don't really believe in it. So I'm not saying there aren't issues there, and obviously you just drafted Toppin, but I'm going to think long and hard before I trade away Julius Randle because, man, that dude is balling, and I don't think anything he's doing is unsustainable. So yeah. But all right, I'll take a couple more and then we get out of here. Was there an explanation why they didn't call that kickball on Drummond? No. They should have. I think, you know why? Because it was inadvertent. If it's inadvertent, then it's not a kickball. I think that's the rule. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that's the rule. Julius is doing everything right this year. Who do you hate more? Oh, my God. I was like, what asshole is asking this question? And then, of course, it's my producer. I'm going to close it out with this. RJ, Melo, Cantor, or Starks? Oh, God. I don't hate John Starks. I hate one really bad game that John Starks had, which I will never live down. It's Cantor. I've come to appreciate Melo, and I like RJ. I'm still very high on RJ. Andrew, go away. You're terrible. All right. Look, let's be happy that RJ had a good game. Quickly had a good game. Knox had some nice moments, and they came out and by and large they lost the game they should have won, but they're still playing hard, and I still think there's good stuff going on. I'm just really worried because at some point this losing streak is going to take a toll on the morale of the locker room, and that sucks. So, they got to get a win. It would have been really nice if they could get it tonight, but they got to get a win. So let's hope they get it soon. Maybe Sunday will be the day. Who knows? All right, everybody enjoy your weekend, and I will see you Sunday afternoon when the sun is still shining because it's a 1:00 game. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will I'll see you in a couple.